My name is Charlotte Ray, and I first have to say I really have to thank Dr. Reber because, you know, I came an old lady in my 80s, and I have asthma, and I have a pacemaker and a mitral valve, and I have scoliosis, and he didn't turn me away. He didn't tell me to go home and look through my papers, and I'll always be profoundly grateful. And also, Dr. Reber and Barbara Clerkin were so warm and wonderful. I just can't say enough for them. Now, I didn't know anything about this pancreatic cancer except that I knew that my mother and my older sister and my uncle died of it, and I was kind of a celebrity because I was Mrs. Garrett on Facts of Life years ago, and so they in Milwaukee, my hometown, they asked if I would come and talk about people who have that family strain to really get a checkup, and Can was there, and Aurora and everything. So I asked if my younger sister and I could have the checkup, and they did an EUI on us, endoscopic ultrasound. And my sister was clean, and I had benign, a cyst. And I said, well, let's find out if it is benign. So they went back in, and another EUI, and said that it was pancreas. I was free of a mass. It was nothing except benign. So they suggested that I get a checkup 6 months later, and they gave me a doctor at Cedars, and I met with him and made an appointment to have a EUS, and I didn't like his personality. He kept saying, oh, Mrs. Garrett, and all that. And so I stupidly said that I would wait until a year from when I went to Milwaukee. So the following July, I went to Milwaukee, and they did an EUS, and I had full-blown cancer. It was 4 centimeters, and I decided I'd come back, and PanCan gave me the list of surgeons to look into, and I auditioned the surgeons at St. John's, and then my gastro doctor, Dr. Darazan, said, you must have Dr. Reber. So I went to see Dr. Reber and Barbara Clerkin, and with my son, and they were wonderful, and I said, yes, if you'll have me, yes. And it was in the tail of my pancreas, and they, and then even from I was operated on the 14th, and the cancer just continued for another half a centimeter, so it was 4.5 centimeters by the time he operated. Well, I was very frightened, but I tell you, I immediately went into research. I called my friend Tyne Daly, who was a very good friend of Marilyn Horne, the opera singer, who was a survivor. I called Marilyn, and she was very helpful. I said, I'm going to have surgery. She said, well, are you frightened? I said, yes. She said, why don't you go to the hypnotherapist that I went to? She helped me enormously before surgery and after surgery. And I did, and I went to see this Dr. Cheryl O'Neill, and we talked, we had sessions. She was in Beverly Hills, and she had CDs, and she gave them to me, and I would go home and sleep with them, and there were images of the wonderful chemical, whatever it's going to be, getting rid of the cancer and all these positive images. And also, I really felt that it was a sign from God. I mean, I'm not a super religious person, but it was really quite a God shot, because otherwise I wouldn't be here. And so I also looked into a couple of other people. A friend of mine who's an actor told me about an actress who was 10 years clear of cancer. She had her gallbladder removed and her part of her stomach and the head of her pancreas. And she's 10 years clean, and we kept together and contacted. And she came to me, and we kept on the phone. And another friend who had, esophageal cancer, she's a survivor of 10 years. And between this support system, it helped me with my God and with the power of and then the surgery. I was ready. And when we finished, the anesthesiologist looked at me, and they said, "Hello, wake up." And I said, "Am I here?" Oh my golly. And from then on, I was I went out and with my walker, walking, wanting to get better, and unfortunately, I did not have what is it, when the glucose thing. I didn't have what do you call it? I wasn't diabetic. I guess that's the main thing. And then I went with my friends to see Dr. Isakoff, my oncologist, and he was wonderful and sometimes a little eccentric. But people said, stick with him, he's tops, and I'm so glad I did. And I don't know, I'm forgetting a lot, but I think you get the point that I'm bottom line, deeply, deeply grateful to Dr. Reber and to Barbara Clerkin and to Dr. Isakoff, and also to my higher power. Thank you.